I'm Kenny Holmes. I'm here with Coach Joe Salave'a. I played at the University of Miami from 1992 to 1996, and this is Coach Joe Salave'a.
What's up, Kenny? It's been a minute. I think we're just talking about, D-line play, man, and you guys had probably one of the most historic legends that came through here, man. I think that's part of the greatest thing about it, having a pre understanding, I guess, before coming here, taking the job, man, just crossing paths with you, man, and nothing but love and respect. I think for all the guys that came through here, what you guys have helped build here, and that's what we're grinding, man. We're
Yeah,
grinding. Good to
yeah,
see you, though.
yeah. You too, always. Coach Joe Salave'a and I have a long history. We played in a college all-star game way back in the day in '97, and we ended up at the Tennessee Titans together, and we've just been great friends ever since. I would go out to Samoa and do his
Right.
camps. Yeah, had a blast,
That
right?
was good, huh? That
And
was
so,
good.
a quick story about that. So I go out to Samoa and do these camps, and I'm on the island, and I'm asking some of his family members, "What does Uso, Uso?" Joe says it to me all the time. What does that mean? And it was like, "Oh, that's brother." And I was like, "Man, that's a huge compliment coming from you, Joe." And I never ever forget that, and that's the way we've been ever since. And I
Man, it
appreciate
was
you.
it was good, man, to have you and some of the guys go down there, and I think a lot of the guys that were in that camp ended up getting into the league, and some of
Yeah,
those guys I bumped into, they remember those camps and the time that you guys came down there.
that's
The
awesome.
funny story about it, we were getting ready to have a dinner that night. I don't know if you remember, Uncle Floyd came through with a fish.
Uh huh.
It was a yellow tail, and you went up in a big pickup, and it was missing a big chunk.
I
And you
tell
had asked him,
I tell that story all the time. I tell that story all the time.
what happened to it? He said, no, the shark took a bit
I
of
mean,
it.
a huge tuna.
You,
Hey, and like half of the fish is gone. So imagine how big the shark had to be. I'm like, man, y'all got my respect. Y'all got my respect for sure. So switching gears, Joe. You guys came in here and are starting to, I think, and this is from an alumni perspective, are doing a great job on the recruiting trail. And as you said before, it starts up front with the defensive and offensive line. The guys that you guys have brought in, to me, man, I think we're getting back to what Miami football has always been. And up front, the defensive line play, from your perspective, is something that I know that you and JT, because both of you guys played it, hold dear to your heart, that we can be difference makers. And that's something that we did in the past as former alumni with the guys even before me with Russell Maryland and all of the guys even before me, Ted Hendricks even, Eddie Edwards. It's a bunch of guys that I think help start that building block. How do you see you guys building on top of that?
man, I think that's the biggest goal right now, man. We're working hard to try to vet out and bring the right ones here in the building. I think the lifeblood of this program it lies squarely on the type of players that we're trying to get done at the line of scrimmage is the biggest deal, man. The good thing about it is, is having an understanding of what that looks like. You have a head coach that's alignment,
That's right.
by trade, and so, man, we're working hard. I think we're on target to get the right guys here in both, but also the guys in the building are already in the building. I think those guys have made a tremendous progress this past spring ball. I think some of those guys really showed what they're capable of. We got some guys that are coming back from nursing some injuries, man. So I think we're gonna be different, just in regard of the energy, the physicality, and the juice about playing, competing. I think that's the biggest thing. But the recruiting piece, man, it's a must
Yeah,
for
you
us to
guys.
be able to. And we'll never be like the times of old of what you guys have done. But I'll tell you, we're going to be close. We're going to get the guys here that are truly fit the profile of what
Yeah.
Miami football is. And I think that's probably the biggest thing is making sure that they fit the culture that we're cultivating here, and it's one vision. That's Coach Cristobal's vision, and it's not all window dressing, man. This is if you like to work, like to have fun to get after, this is the place.
Right.
And so we're going through that very extensively in detail with a lot of people involved in making sure that we're getting our target and signing those targets.
Right. No, I agree. The juice, the atmosphere the culture that you create, all of those things are huge to me in Miami football. When you ask me what Miami football is, and that burning fire inside of you, to it's the fourth quarter, and it's 1:30 on the clock. Somebody got to make a play.
Yeah.
That's what it boils down to. It's a burning fire inside of you that somebody has to step up and make a play. And those plays are made in the spring, in summer, in off-season conditioning. Those when those plays are made. And I think that to get Miami football to where you guys obviously are working to get it is bringing in those right players that fit that mold.
Right. Well, I think you hit it on the head, man. The conditioning piece. Let me ask you this. I mean, what brought you here? What drew you here as you're going through your process? And then a little bit of that conditioning, man, what did it look like? Because y'all, man, when you put on them films, because we had the Fiesta Bowl.
Yeah.
Leading up to the Fiesta, there was a lot of film to go through and just to see the dudes fly around.
Yeah, yeah.
That's to me, you can't just talk about it. It had to be in a habit that was created.
Absolutely. And it was created in the off season. The iron sharpens iron. The guy behind you pushing you. The guy across from you that you're going against pushing you. I think that competition created and was bred into us putting a pretty doggone good product on the field.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of what you saw on Saturdays was a byproduct of what we did months before, way before what you saw on Saturdays. The 110s, the 200s, the 400s, the 800s that we ran during the summer and spring, getting ready for the season, to know that you were going to be in those situations where it's a national game or it's a national title or conference, whatever it is, that game is, and you have to be able to perform when your number is called to make that play. And I think a lot of my teammates back then and even guys before that, they welcomed that. They wanted to be in that situation, and I think that's what Miami football is. I think Miami football to me is having a group of guys that are like-minded on the same mission, and the other component of that is having a alumni that is a generational alumni. Like the guys from the '60s are just as welcome, and you see them, and they hug you and dap you up. From the '60s to the 2000s,
Right,
it's
right.
no okay. This group of guys that I went to for these 4 or 5 years are the guys that I'm with. I'm with, like I said, Eddie Edwards from Fort Pierce was a first-round draft pick, the third pick in the draft in like the '70s, and we're close. So I think that is what Miami football is. It's a generational alumni.
That's the cool thing about it, man. Just having the honor to cross paths with you, Mike Barrow, and then later with CP, Clem Portis, Tana, Moss, and Sean. It's like an armor that you wore because the conversation didn't change. When they started talking about the U man, it's eerie. They all y'all sound the same. The condition, the brotherhood, competitive to the point of getting each other after each other on the field, man. I think those are the things that resonated to me, and I think just having a daily conversation with JT here now, Jason. I mean, having played in the position, condition is such a premium, brother. And I think those are the things right now, man. With Coach Cristobal, man, we're pushing that thing. We can never be well conditioned, man. We gotta continue to. So I think there lies, like you said, right? It's training for a heavyweight belt, title fight, and you gotta be able to play your best at the end. Get stronger at the end. But I think those are the things that we're proud to be here, man. It's an honor to be here, man. I've always admired all of you guys, man. Even Brother Ray, the short time I went to Baltimore, just playing against those guys, Ed Reed, man, you name it. I think the mystique and the sheer pride of having the privilege to drape the colors of the Miami Hurricane. That's the biggest thing. It's the respect, and I think understanding the history, knowing the history, and then forging our own.
That's right.
Because you can never be exact like what y'all did, and we don't want to be that. We want these guys here to build their own. But man, getting back to the basics of football when football was at its highest is with you guys were flying around and playing for each other, competing. I think those are the things, man. We're working hard at trying to make sure that we get this thing going. And this past spring was just a snippet of what the difference is a year make, man. And it's so good to see a lot of our local guys sign here,
right? And
they're going to have a major impact. So I think, man, just moving around today and seeing you guys and it's really really cool to see you guys connect with the current guys here, even with coaches, because unless you wore it, it's hard, right? It's hard to understand and fathom what it truly means. But man, having been around Coach Cristobal in the last few years, man, it's not hard to understand and relate to what needs to get done and what must be done here on the daily. So man, I appreciate our friendship.
Absolutely, I do too, man.
You're shit. I seen you hunt. I seen you get out the quarterbacks. Every time I bump into some former quarterback, I said, man, I remember being in the foxhole with you guys and having crossed paths with you at the All-Star Q, man, going against Big Casey Jones.
Yeah.
I mean, so it's cool to keep the relationship with some of those guys, but having all come back here to Green Tree, man, and we're busting our butts to work as a staff to make sure that we generate that the right way, and as Coach said, how we do anything is how we do everything.
Amen.
And that's much respect, man. I appreciate the time though with you.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. And I appreciate you guys building on what the U means and stands for going forward. I appreciate you and love you, brother.
Love you, bro. Kevin Holmes, man, in the building.
Dude.